but first and foremost, Blanca, I'm really appreciative of you coming on the show. I greatly appreciate it. I know you're very busy, so I appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, yeah, of course. And I mean, obviously we're together here recording because of your, passion for training and for fitness. I was curious, it's kind of how I start off most of my podcasts, and how you got into, this, you know, fitness. I don't know if industry is the best way to call it, but just being like working out and training, especially for like women, right? Because it's like it's not necessarily as promoted for women as it is for men. So I'm just always curious on like what makes people like get into this.
Okay. Well, I was always like really competitive in high
Hmm.
school. So I did track in high school, and I that's actually how I got introduced to the weight room. And I remember just being super nervous in the like when we were working out, and my coach was like, "Oh, you have to go and squat that." And I was like, "No way, what do you mean? That looks so heavy. There's no way." And I was training with one of my friends. This was all in practice. And I remember just doing like that one like rep, and I was like, "Oh my God, I did it." And I was just so excited that I could do it,
Hmm.
because it was intimidating at first. And from there, I had two coaches. So there was like my track coach and then the assistant coach.
Hmm.
One was very supportive, and so was the other. But the other one, I had showed her like a picture of like what I wanted to look like, and
Hmm.
it was like a more muscular build of a body. And she had told me, I mean, I was really skinny in high school, so she had told me there's no way you could do that. So it's like there's two fires that lit up in me. One was the like you take the route that you want, and
Uh-huh.
you have someone that's there like pushing you, and then you have someone saying, not in like a bad way, I didn't take it in a bad way, but that you can't do it. And I was like, oh, I can't do it, watch, I'm gonna show you. And since there I started working out at Porky's. It was a local bodybuilder community gym down here in
Hmm.
South Florida.
Hmm.
They actually closed down the year after I started competing. And yeah, once you go into a gym filled with bodybuilders, you know that they just reel you in. And then you
It,
have the itch to do it. So they're like, "Are you gonna compete? Are you gonna compete? What do you?" I'm like, "What do you mean compete? Like compete in what?" And so I looked into it. I was always want to research like everything. I'm like, how can I make my muscle grow? So I would just look up like, okay, how many calories do I need to eat, protein, this, and it was really interesting to me, because I feel like the diet is what changes everything ultimately.
hmm.
So then I did my first show, and then I was like, that's it, I'm happy, I got the itch, it's done. And but then I won that show. It was on the NPC. It was on 4th of July. It was on I want to say I can't remember the name right now.
Hmm.
But it was one week before of the NPC Southern States.
Okay. Okay. It's
Yeah.
it's interesting. Like that's a pretty like cool story, but it's interesting how like somebody will look at you and say like you can't get there. And yeah, I know you said you were very thin. I'm sure to them there was like there is no way that this little girl is going to be able to to get to that level. And I was just while you were talking, I was looking at like some of your pictures. I'm gonna share this one. So like I bet have you seen those coaches again since since you
Oh
started
yeah, yeah.
bodybuilding? Okay.
One go
Go ahead.
speak to like every so often, and he sees all my stuff on Instagram. And the other one saw me after I turned pro. I used to be a cashier at a local grocery store.
Uh-huh.
And she saw me, I was like, oh hey, let's catch up really quick. And I showed her, and she was really proud. Like she didn't take it in a bad way, but she was just like, whoa, like you
Yeah,
did
yeah.
that. And I was like, yeah, I did that.
Right. So I'm sure like if what they remember you like in like a picture like this, I don't know if you can see it. I tried to share the screen, but
Oh yeah.
something, so they're probably like, their mind is blown, like that you were able to get, to this level. And which by the way, this is a fantastic picture. Like this is I mean, everything is this like how far are you out from a show here?
I
right?
think that was, I think that one was after I did a show going into the hurricane last year.
I see. Okay. Okay. So this is like just right after it when everything is, you're at the top, at the height of your level.
I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah. Yeah.
If
That's
not, it was either 4 weeks out from the the San Antonio Pro or the Hurricane Pro, which
mhm.
they're 4 weeks apart.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, this is a fantastic look. And so what age did you do your first show? I know you said your first show and you won. What age was that?
It was I was 20.
You were 20 years, so very young. And it's like it's funny how like winning will change like what you want to do. It's like, oh, I'm gonna try to do it. I'm just gonna do it once. It's and then never, it's just to get it off the bucket list. And then you win and you're like, huh, maybe I can do better than just one
Well,
show,
I was it's kind of a funny story. Like right after I'm like, nah, give me my food. I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. They're like, what do you mean? But look at you, you just won. And I was like, yeah, I'm happy. And come on, just do another show. And then that's Maria Belando, she's the promoter of the Southern State. She's like,
Mhm.
come on, come and compete. Just do it. This is one of the top shows. Sandy Williamson was there. And I was like, all right, it's just another week, I guess. Why not?
Mhm.
And then I went into it and I also did really well there. And I was just like, winning is fun.
Yeah, yeah. How long did it take you to win your how long did it take you to win your pro card? So when did you get your pro card?
I got my pro card at 21 in
Uh,
figure.
So just one, essentially 1 year, and you went pro.
Yeah, I did 1 year of bikini, and then they told me that I should try to do figure,
Mm,
and then if not, that I would have to like what is it, not grow anymore
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
for bikini, obviously. So then I was just like, okay, let's try it, and then I tried it, and then I did 1 year of figure.
Yeah, I think it's it's one of those things where like you really have to pick your division like carefully because your genetics tend to dictate like how well you do. So it's like if you're growing all the time and you have to stop yourself from growing just to fit a division, like that's not I feel like that's counter to what bodybuilding is. It's like bodybuilding is to build your body. So if your whole process is to avoid growing, it's like maybe it's time that you go to a different division, which sounds like that's exactly what you did.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, that's one of the major things that I was just like, I was not having fun in the gym anymore,
Hmm.
trying to like restrict myself from growing anymore.
Hmm.
And it's like when you're not loving it, there's no purpose to it.
Yeah, yeah. I had this sorry, my mic is like twisting on me, but I had this conversation with a couple of competitors in the past, and it's like it becomes like not interesting anymore. So like you're essentially just going to the gym to to work out around, like you can only do certain things and you can't do them to your full to your full capacity, and because you're trying not to grow too much, and it's like it just becomes this like weird cycle, instead just going into a division that allows you to grow and allows you to do what you want to do. So
Yeah. I
um
think a lot of competitors get scared
mhm,
of like, oh, at least for women. I think they get scared to get bigger per se because they see
sure.
other competitors and they look really intimidating, but they don't, I guess they don't reflect and look how they can make it their own as
Mhm.
well. Obviously, you fit into where you belong, but I think that you can make it like your thing.
Yeah. That's an interesting point to make. Yeah. So sometimes you'll look at somebody and you'll be like, oh, well, I don't want to look like that person. But
Mhm.
you just because you're in the same division, just because you're working out, just as hard or what doesn't mean you're gonna look like them. You have your own genetics. You can build yourself, how you want to look. It's so I think that happens in the bigger divisions with women. I think most women don't want to go so far as to lose their femininity, and
Mhm.
then but like you said, it's a good point that you can make it your own. So you don't have to look like this other person, or whatever,
Yeah.
and yeah, I think that's important to remember. So
Yeah. No, absolutely.
for sure.
I was scared to go into figure.
Say what?
I was scared to go into figure
Yeah,
from bikini. Yeah.
for that reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then once I did it, it's posing helps a lot.
Hmm.
So when people pose, that's when their physique comes to life. And
Right.
thankfully I have like a smaller waist, so I'm able to hide certain or actually make other body parts look bigger when I pose.
Hmm.
And like I remember doing the Pittsburgh Pro 2018, that was my pro debut. And I remember being in like the tanning line
Hmm.
or getting ready, and they're like, she's figure? There's no way. I thought she was a bikini girl. And I was like, oh my God.
It's like
I was like,
it's
no,
like
I'm small.
disrespectful.
Yeah, I was like, I was a lot smaller back
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
Figure isn't what it is now.
Hmm.
But I was like, whatever, I'm gonna show them because
Right.
when I'm relaxed and you have like the your pump cover on, like you can hide a lot. So
Sure. Yeah, no, the posing is huge, right? Like sometimes you look at somebody, excuse me, and they don't look like you would think. And then they take off their shirt or they take off, whatever they have on top, and they start hitting shots and start posing, and all of a sudden their like body like starts doing like crazy stuff, and it's like that posing is so big. That's why I believe like we have such a boom now of posing coaches, because that's all they do is coach posing, because it's so important, for
yeah,
sure.
posing is so important. It could separate you, like it could be two physiques that just look like very hard to choose who it is, and whoever poses better shows off their body like the best way.
Yeah.
Like that'll count against you
Yeah.
if you off.
Yeah, I always considered figure to be like a very feminine but muscular division, and I think that's kind of like what it really was intended to be, because they wanted somebody who's, not as big, still has femininity, but can still, bring in that muscularity, that people are looking for when they go to a bodybuilding competition, and so like, but for example, like I was talking when I was at the Arnold. I don't know if you were there this last time, and you didn't get a chance to go.
No.
It was a fantastic show. But I was talking to Sydney, and looking at her and being next to her, you wouldn't, and I mean this like in a very positive way, you wouldn't think that she's like an Olympia champion, like in a bodybuilding like division of figure, because when you look at her on stage, like everything is just popping and everything. But when she's in a shirt and like regular clothes, she's very feminine and looks like, like what you would expect a normal woman to look like, so it's like it's that those two things that the figure division can provide, and I always like really really enjoyed it. I was unfortunate. I don't know if you heard, but I'm sure you did, but this last Arnold, they took the figure away from the show.
Yeah,
It was a big
yeah.
deal. A lot of people were very upset.
No, yeah, absolutely. I didn't like that. They did that. I don't think a lot of people did, especially the figure girls.
Yeah, yeah. It was just weird. It was weird. It was like, I mean, for you're looking for like pop. I guess I don't know if popularity is the right term, but I mean, figure is huge. I feel like figure is a good draw. I mean, who doesn't want to, want to see that look? Like I don't know. It was weird, and the explanation they gave was weird, but it's
Um,
the
Hope they bring it back. Have they talked about bringing it back? I haven't heard
I
anything.
don't know. I don't
And
know. Yeah, there's always conversations about it, but I don't know. Yeah, it's difficult like to deal with, because here you are, you're a competitor, you're like you get two major shows, right? Like you get the Arnold and you get the Olympia. The rest are like, some of them are bigger, some of them are smaller, but those are like the Super Bowls, you could say, of the sport. And to just eliminate your whole division from it, it's kind of like it kind of hurts, kind of hurts your heart, a little
Yeah,
bit.
it sucked.
Yeah, yeah,
I hope they bring it back. I think
yeah.
that they will.
I
Yeah,
think
I think.
I think they will. Yeah, I think they will at some point. As just hopefully this next then 2024 in March. So
Yeah, no, that
hopefully.
would be amazing.
Yeah. How so so you win your pro card so in just a year you develop enough muscle to go pro in figure. That's pretty impressive. How did you train to build that muscle? Were you like, are you a heavy lifter? Do you do a lot of volume?
I always trained the same. Obviously, you would focus on certain muscle groups a little bit more, but I always stuck to the compound lifts. Thankfully, like being in high school and then going to a bodybuilder gym, I had like the right guidance, I would say, just making
Hmm.
sure like the form was right and building up from there. Typically 4 sets, 3 to 4 sets, and
Hmm.
heavy. I like to train
Heavy.
heavy. Yeah. And then you'll have your occasional, like, you have your supersets and you mix it up a little bit, but I stick to like what works best.
Hmm.
And if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's training heavy is like, one, it's fun, and then
Yes.
two, it's like it's just something about that heavy like load on your muscles that creates that hypertrophy, that
Yeah.
creates that 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 I don't even know, like that graininess, that hardness, that volume can do some of that, but I feel like you need to, but I feel like you need to incorporate heavy weights. You have to,
Yeah,
and I
that,
mean,
I
go ahead.
agree. No, I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah, I think heavyweight is different for everybody. So sometimes like people will say, well, I can't lift that much, like as much as maybe somebody might look at you and say, oh, well, I can't lift as much as her, but it doesn't have to be the same. Like it's what heavy is for you. So whatever your muscles are feeling that's heavy, that's what's going to make you grow. So sometimes it can be intimidating, especially for women, I know.
All the time. They don't want to lift heavier, and because, oh no, I don't want to get big like you. And I'm like, yeah, you don't understand that doesn't happen that fast. It doesn't happen. Oh no, it's too heavy. I don't want to get big. And you're like, I, that's
Yeah.
not.
I saw this thing where somebody told Arnold back in the day when he was young and still winning Olympias and stuff. They're like, well, I don't want to be as big as you, and he's like, don't worry, you'll never be as big as me.
But it's true. You hear it all the time. You get it from like men to women, all
Hmm.
different ages, and different kinds of like athletes that you work with. And you're like, it's not that fast. Like it
Yeah,
doesn't happen like that. If not, everyone would be like Arnold
yeah, yeah.
or Olympian.
For sure. Well, it's also like it takes a ton of hard work, ton of hard work, and it's, a lot of focus, hard work. Sometimes people train twice a day, I mean, it's a lot of like also not at the gym, like the things that you do when you're not working out, the eating, the nutrition, like to put that muscle on. It's not it's not a simple and easy process. Like you said, if it was, you know, there'd be a lot of people with six packs and and huge shoulders and big biceps and everything, and they're not. I was at work one time and this older man. It's just funny to me how some people can be very delusional. Like, um, this older man, he's probably like in his 60s, and it's the similar thing to what we're talking about. He's like, hey, can you help me out, like, show me some things. Like, of course, yeah. And he's like, but just not too much. I don't want to be as big as you. And I'm like, there's literally not a chance. And this guy was tiny, and you got to understand, he's also older. There's no way he's going to put on that kind of muscle like that. And and I told him, I was like, yeah, I'll help you out, but I mean, like, there's no way you're ever gonna even be close to my size. Like, you don't have to worry about that. That's not gonna happen. So
You're
it's
like,
just
that's the least of your worries right
right,
now.
right, exactly. Yeah, it's just one of those things. People are just so like sometimes so delusional in like what it takes to get to that level. And
Yeah.
like, how do so you coach people as well, right? and
Yes.
like and like when people have their goals, Like let's say they tell you like, oh, my goal is this, my goal is that. Like, how do you ever encounter like where people's goals are unrealistic? Do you have to like talk to them and be like, okay, well, we need to maybe break it down a little bit? Like,
Yeah, no, always I do, and I try to see like a realistic time frame. I would do it the same way as I do with myself.
mm-hmm,
So, and I would explain it to them just how I would see it for myself.
mm-hmm.
And typically, there's never a problem there.
Yeah, yeah.
Patience is one of the biggest problems that people, or not problems, but
You said patience.
patience. Yeah, I think people they get impatient, or 1 week, like let's say there's no change in 1 week, and they become impatient. They're like, I
Yeah,
want results now. I mean, we all want like 6 packs, like in 1 week of dieting.
yeah, yeah. It is. I think because we live in a world where everything is so fast, like the gratification comes very fast. You want something, you get it now. You want food, you go get it now. You want like this, you go buy it now. You can order it online, it comes to your house, you know. So like people take that mentality and apply it to something like, you know, your body or fitness or training. And it's like it doesn't work that way. Like it's progressive, consistent, you know, work that gets you there, you know, and that's like I'm sure you deal with that.
Yeah, I like to say just like because people are really hard on themselves. So am I.
Mhm,
I'm like
mhm.
I think we're our biggest critic. So I just like to always have like a good reminder that you didn't put on that weight or lose that weight in like a month. So you
Mhm.
can't expect it to happen in like a day.
Right, right. Do
Or
you
like, yeah,
what do you
right.
what do you mostly encounter? Do you deal when you train people, do you encounter more that people want to get bigger, you know, more muscular, or do you deal more with like people just trying to lose body fat?
Um, Usually it is just to get like body fat. Yeah.
Body fat. Yeah, that's
I
most
want to
people.
say you want to get bigger, like my guys will typically want
Mhm.
to come and train and get bigger, get stronger and push. And I think it helps when you have a female coach trying to push you because you're like,
Yeah.
man, girl lifts more than me. So, but with girls, typically it's just to get leaner.
Yeah.
I think it helps that even though I'm a bodybuilder, I still have that feminine look. So I
Hmm.
think they admire that as well.
Do you deal I'm sure, yeah, absolutely. I'm sure they do. And do you deal with like competitors or is this lifestyle mostly?
Both, mainly lifestyle.
Man, lifestyle. Who do you enjoy training more?
I like both. I don't know.
Both.
Yeah, I can't like pick and choose. Oh, well, you can, but I like them all.
Yeah, okay. I the reason I
Um,
go ahead, I'm
Older
sorry.
people like up in their 60s. So, and I love training them too. That's
Oh
more
yeah.
like than comforting.
Yeah, it makes you feel good like you're giving back, you know. It's yeah, no, I get it. Some I've talked to some people and they were you know, they train sometimes both and they were telling me that it's it's difficult to train bodybuilders because they're so particular. You know, it's like everybody it's like lifestyle people aren't as particular and so it's a sometimes it's a little bit easygoing. I don't know if you like had that experience or was it or you know everything is like smooth for you.
I've had both. I think
Mhm,
with lifestyle, it's harder to like to keep them focused more so on the diet
mhm.
because people like to party. I'm here in Miami.
Yeah. Of
It's just
course, yes, Miami, I'm sure.
nonstop. There's always something to do, but it's trying to get them to understand that, like, if you want results, just sacrifice just that little bit of time and
Yeah,
then get where you are. And it's much easier to maintain than having to cut all the time.
yeah.
With bodybuilders, think that they're just like, okay, I know that food is fuel and that's it. Like, that's what it's for, you
Hmm.
know? And
Hmm.
then you have your scheduled refeeds or this and that.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's just, yeah.
Yeah, it's different. I get that. Yeah, interesting. So, you know, so you got your pro card, you know, just to kind of take a step back. And how many pro shows have you done at this point?
I did the Pittsburgh Pro. I did the San Antonio and Figure, San Antonio Front Hurricane. So 3 pro
Three
shows.
pro shows.
The wellness, a pro wellness show.
You've done a pro wellness show? Oh, interesting. About you said so you've done one wellness show. What made you and I was gonna actually ask you about wellness later, but now that you brought it up, and the reason I was gonna ask you is because when I'm looking at your physique and stuff, you I could see you could go wellness, but I didn't realize you already competed in wellness. So like what made you decide to go that direction?
So after the Pittsburgh Pro, I had taken time off competing just to focus on school. And I had started a new job that I was really into. It was
Hmm.
in the field that I studied. So I just wanted, like, I think when I put my mind, I know when I put my mind to something, I go 100%. I could be very extreme at it. And I just think that's the best way how I can succeed. So I took 3 years off from competing, and then COVID came around,
Hmm.
and like working out like was tough to get into any gyms. I always had access to a gym, so there was no excuse for me there. But I worked on a full-time night shift rotating
Hmm.
schedule. I worked in the ER trauma, and it was just like really tiring. And then after I did figure, I saw other girls and I got really like intimidated sort of. So I just focused on just like when I did go to the gym, just focusing on my legs, right? That's what girls tend to do. Oh, I don't
Hmm.
want to get any bigger up top, blah, blah, blah. And then that's when wellness came around. And I was like, oh snap, like that might be like a division that I would like. I can just keep doing what I'm doing, just train like legs. And I just started dieting. It's like I'm just gonna diet, see where my physique goes. Obviously not focus so much on upper body, and then as you start seeing changes, you're like, oh, okay, all right, let's give it a try. So I gave it a try,
Hmm.
and I like it. I just didn't feel like myself when I was on stage doing like bonus. I love the posing. I love the physique. Like those legs are insane. These girls are amazing. Like you can't take away from that. But I
Hmm.
just didn't feel like that was where I wanted to be. And
Hmm.
maybe it was just since the posing was so different and I was so used to figure. I don't know, I didn't feel like I belonged there. So afterwards, I was like, all right, maybe I'll do like another one. But like we were talking about earlier, I was going into the gym and just limiting myself. And I noticed
Hmm.
I started half-assing everything. And then just being there, I just didn't enjoy it. I was like, oh man, I can't do this, I
Yeah.
can't do that. So that's when I'm like, you know what, screw this. And I'm like, I'm not gonna compete in wellness. I'm not gonna compete at all. I'm just gonna train and lift heavy. That's all I
Hmm.
want to do. And then you get like going again. You're like, all right,
Yeah.
and it's changes. And I went back to figure, and I did pretty well. I placed top five in those two shows. So it's like the
Yeah.
whole thing. You enjoy what you do. If not,
Yeah,
not.
absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you. I agree with you. That's interesting. So you went to wellness and you were like, I'm not feeling it. And you just came back to figure. So when you're a pro in and I think I know the answer to this, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. If you're a pro in figure, you can compete in any division as a pro, right? Like you don't have to qualify or become a pro in that division.
Had to find out as well. Yeah, once you're a pro, you can go into another division, but it can't be the same pro show.
I see. So you couldn't compete like in figure and in wellness in the
No.
same show. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to do that to see. I'm like, let me just get my answer here, and
Yeah.
but you can't.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool to do, but yeah, I guess like if they allowed that, then there would just be like people would just be everywhere. Like they'd be doing every division.
Yeah.
Because some people have like physiques where like maybe they're really like high level in a certain division, but they can also be pretty competitive in others. It's just kind of they have one of those physiques that you can kind of like see it in like multiple divisions. And so for those people like allowing that, they would just jump around like and just compete in
I
everything.
Ron Clarita, didn't he do that? He's in the 212 and he did an open show.
Yeah, yeah, he
Yeah.
did. He did. So I was at this last Arnold, as I told you. Was he there? Let me see. Did he? I can't remember. I think he was. That's a good question. I don't know if it was at the Arnold or another show, but he jumped into an open show. And I mean, to be honest, not to get sidetracked into the men's divisions, but I think he's got a fantastic physique. The only thing that holds him back is he's just a smaller person.
Mhm.
If he wasn't a smaller person and kept those same proportions, he I think he would be the Olympia champ in the Open. I mean, there's almost no weaknesses that he has, so but that's
He
just
looks.
mine.
I don't know how much more muscle he could put on.
Yeah, on his little frame like that. Yeah, it's wild. It's wild that someone can accomplish that. It's
He's like
again,
maxing his skin.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So you're back in figure. You're done with wellness.
Yes. I am. I think I should just clear the air because I always get like comments on, usually it's Instagram, but because I love the posing, like it's bodybuilding. I don't
Yeah,
think that because you're in figure, you can't. Sorry, excuse
that's
me.
okay. No worries.
You put this on. Sorry.
Is someone calling you? You're very
No,
popular. Oh,
let me put this on.
yeah,
The end. Um, there we go.
yeah.
Like
See,
I love doing the poses, the front double. It's just you have muscle, why not? Like have fun with it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I get it. I get it. Is that have you ever thought about, well, and I know like part of what you were talking about earlier is that you saw some of the figure girls and they were on the bigger side. Do you think that like what do you think overall as far as the figure division? You think they're getting big or too big? You think they're, everything's going just right? Like how, like what are your thoughts on it?
I love figure and
Mhm.
I love muscles. So for me, I think that like I like Jessica Padilla, like I like how she's very
Yes.
round and like she has great conditioning. I love freaking we were just talking about her.
Sydney?
Yeah, Sydney.
Yeah.
Sydney did my posing for my last show. So
Oh,
I love
okay.
like she's very graceful. Her posing is on point. I think she's like one of like as far as size goes, she just holds it to a great standard.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I like how figure is this year.
Yeah.
I think that it's getting very competitive. And but I like it. I think it's going in the right direction. And I'm happy to see more girls competing this year. I feel like there's more this year than there was last year.
Yeah, yeah. It's yeah, there's definitely I believe like it looks like there's definitely more emphasis on muscle across the board. I think, but I do feel like that's kind of like a natural progression. I think what's going to happen is people are going to want to grow. People are want to going to get bigger, even in places, and even in small divisions like bikini, the girls are much bigger than they used to be, so um I think that's just natural. That's just normal. And it's, you can get too much, but I think a figure is in a good place. I don't think it's like at the point where it's too much.
It has a good balance right now.
Yeah.
Like in my opinion, and obviously yours. So I
Yeah,
don't think
yeah.
that size right now in figure is an issue. I think what it is like with the conditioning, that's where it like that fine line between figure and women's physique.
Hmm.
But I like when girls are a little bit bigger and conditioned. It's impressive to see.
Sure, sure. Yeah, yeah. And I think that's what people come to see. They come to see to be impressed. And if
Yeah,
if if you're not impressed, then I don't think, it's as interesting. I don't think bodybuilding is as interesting if you're not impressed. I mean, that's the whole point, right? So, especially for people that are not in bodybuilding but just love to like watch the shows and come to the shows, and maybe they love to train but they're not competing, and so when they go there, they want to see people that are impressive. And so I completely agree with you. So like when I was looking at figure in the Olympia last year, I mean, they were every girl was sharp. Every girl was sharp. Like I didn't see anyone that was like wasn't in great condition and good level of muscularity. Like so, do you think Sydney will ever be dethroned?
Man. I think like a time will come where, but I don't think it's gonna happen this year either. Uh,
Hmm.
it looks good. So,
Yeah.
to dethrone someone, you have to look really, really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, she's saying when I talked to her, she said she's going for as many as possible. She does, I mean, like she did mention, and I don't think I'm saying anything that she wouldn't say out in public, but she mentioned that at some point she does, want to have kids. So like she might take a break for that. Um, but so far she just keeps going and keep winning. So, it's pretty impressive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's important too. Like you have a life outside of bodybuilding
Hmm.
as well.
Yeah.
It can consume a lot of people and they lose sight of what's important outside of bodybuilding. Um, but it's like you make it part of who you are. You don't let
Sure.
it like ride your life.
That's a really good quote, to make it part of who you are and not like override your life because like you said, for some reason this sport is just all like consuming, and it's like people will like, you know, destroy their relationships with like with their friends, with their mates, with their like
Yeah.
just to bodybuild, and it has that effect. And if you don't have that like self-control, like it can do that to you. You mentioned that you're obviously in a high stress job. What do you do for, I know you said you worked in trauma ER, but like what do you do?
I used to work at the ER trauma. Now I'm just a full-time personal trainer and part owner of Flex Appeal Miami. It's down here in that's the gym where I usually train at. Always
Okay.
train at.
So it's a gym, that local gym there. Okay. And how did you get involved with that? Did you always want to be a gym owner or?
Always been like an idea.
Mhm.
So I had been training with them since I first started competing. That's where I started working out, and I would work the front desk. I worked at two gyms, and then they're just like, "Why do you just not work over here and be a trainer here? Like you're always here."
Yeah,
And I was
yeah, you're always
like,
there anyway.
"Sure." Yeah, and they're like, "You basically live here." I was like, you know what? All right. And they've known me since I was like 17, 18,
Hmm.
19.
Hmm.
So I grew with them, and I had talked to them about like ideas, and the gym owner, the main one, Jesus,
Hmm.
he had him and Will ask me, they're like, "Hey, I know that you talked about maybe opening up a gym. Why don't you just become our owner here
Yeah,
and just
yeah.
focus on making this one even better?" I was
Mhm.
like, "Yeah, that makes sense. Why not?"
That's exciting. Yeah, I'm planning, me and my wife are planning to move down to Florida. She's from Florida, I'm not, but so in the next couple of years we're planning to move down there. And I was thinking, I was like, wouldn't it be cool to like wherever we go, like open up a gym? But I mean, it would be pretty awesome. How is the gym business? Is it a tough business to get into? Is it like, how can I put this? I don't, without like being too forward, or like, is it financially like rewarding business, or is it difficult to keep things
uh,
running and moving?
I don't think that it's financially difficult.
Hmm.
I definitely think that if I would have started from scratch, it would have been.
Yeah, yeah.
So happy that, even if it's not like 100% mine, like I have a part of something that I love.
Yes,
And
yeah. Hmm.
financially, how I started off, no. If I would have started from scratch, like definitely. Because man, you go to the gym, you see how people they slam things and they freaking I don't think that they notice it, or you're pumped up. I'm sure you do it. I do it. We're tired. We're like, oh, yes, we're amped up. So there's a lot of like wear and tear that you have to
Hmm.
repair all the time, and mirrors. Man, when if people break mirrors, you're just
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. It's
accidental,
it's
but it's something you have to fix and
it,
pay to
it,
fix.
it's wild because it's like people are nuts. People are nuts. It's like so that one, right now I'm working out, I built a gym in my house, but before I was training at a local gym here, and like there was people that would come in, and when they would be done with their set, they would yell, and then throw the weights. And I'm like, somebody like not just drop them, but like you'll see like a weight just start like tumble somewhere. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like what who told you this was okay? I think the problem is that people don't understand that there's gym etiquette, just like there's etiquette like when you go to a job, just like there's etiquette like when you go there's like the proper way to conduct yourself at a gym. And it's like a lot of people just don't understand that. And so like you end up just looking at them and shaking your head and so
Yeah, like, do I want to say something? Yes, of course you want to say something, but yeah, I understand.
it's tough, right? Because it's like you want to say something and you want to be like, hey, like don't do that, but then you're also asking yourself, is it worth it? Like, is it worth to, like, I guess if you're the owner, it's worth it, because that's
Oh
your
no,
gym.
I've said something before, and I'm like,
Yeah.
do you have to do that? And they're like, oh, yeah. I'm like, no, no, tell me, was that necessary? And they're like, damn, and it'll be guys too. Usually girls don't throw shit like that
Yeah, yeah,
sometimes,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but
No,
guys are, wow, we.
I've never seen a girl like to be honest, like now that you said that, I'm trying to think back, and it's always like guys. Like I've never seen a girl like just toss weight like or throw it across, like the gym or
They're
anything. Yeah, yeah, like launch it. Yeah, it's an interesting business for sure, and I'm kind of I'm excited for you that like you're a part of this. How long have you been a part of it?
as of this year.
Okay, so
Yeah,
it's fairly new. So
yeah,
yeah, that's super exciting. That's super
yeah.
exciting.
And it's good being in it with people that have seen like that we've both seen each other grow.
Hmm.
So it's not like strangers just starting off.
Sure.
Um, like a family. It is a
Yeah.
family.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Um, what are your plans as far as competing? Are you going to be doing any more shows or anything like that?
Well, right now I just like started I guess you would say prep, and we're
Hmm.
gonna see how that goes. My birthday's around the corner, so it's
Okay.
always a good motivation just to scale back on the junk. I
For
wanna
sure.
see if I do the hurricane this year. If not, I always wanted to compete in the spring, but with the holidays when they come around, that's when I get busier at work too.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I want to see in the spring.
So the goal is, to win a show and then go to the Olympian. If you win one, are you definitely going? Or are you going to sit it out?
For what if I win
If you
one?
win a show, are you definitely going to go to the Olympia? Or are you going to sit out?
Oh, of course, yeah, I'll
Yeah,
go sit.
yeah. Some
Yeah.
people some people sit out. It's weird. I don't understand that concept, but yeah, but some like I've heard of people winning shows and they're just like, I'm not gonna go this year. I'm just gonna wait till I'm better, and to me it's like just go. Why not? Just go no matter where you place. At least you know where you stand. So
Yeah, I think I can't. I'm excited that Olympia's here in Florida this year.
yes, yeah.
I couldn't go last year, so this year I'm excited to see it like in person, and it's like a car drive away. So that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, that's
Are you gonna
that
be there?
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna really try. My in-laws live in Clear, is it Clearwater? Yeah, Clearwater. And so like I don't know how many hours. That might be like a few hours, 2, 3 hours. But that's I don't know. I don't know how long that will be like around the Tampa.
Probably be like 2, 3
Yeah,
hours.
yeah. So it's definitely doable. So it's not bad. If I can fly in and just stay with them and then just drive over, that's not going to be like a big deal. So yeah, that would be pretty exciting. I'm definitely going to try for sure. So it's really close to you, you said?
No, it's like 2, 3 hours. It's in
Oh, so
Orlando.
it's
Yeah,
yeah, still same manageable. So you're in Miami, right?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Miami.
It's, I've never been. I want to go, but I've never been. Yeah. So
No?
I've never been, but
That's interesting. I feel like okay, so you can either hate it or love it,
mhm.
but I just feel like there's always something to do, and that's like the fun part.
Sure. Yeah. There was a girl that I worked with that was from Miami. She's a Cuban girl, and she was saying that like it's like it, so she was not a huge fan of like the scene there, and what she was saying is that there's a real strong push to try to keep up with people. Like people will rent like expensive cars, like just to show up, and like even though it's not theirs, like it's like people
Yeah.
like it's like a big push to try to appear to have a lot. I like, is that, would you say like that's true? I don't know.
Rent here is crazy. Cars anywhere is crazy right
Yeah,
now. Yeah, I see what she means, absolutely.
yeah,
But it's like you have to be happy with like who you are, and
sure, sure.
I think it's motivating, if anything. You
Yeah.
just have to make sure you're focused. So it's like, yeah, you want to do better, but do
Hmm.
better for you and not for other people. Like I
Yeah.
don't care what people think about me. So it's like, I inspire to be better, to be better and do better and live better. So it's
Yeah.
like I think it's cool. I don't know. I like it. But when you know like that certain people are like living in places they shouldn't,
Yeah.
or driving cars that they shouldn't, and you know that they don't have the financial support to do that, you're like, dude, don't post that online. Like
Yeah.
I'm struggling.
We all know those cars are yours.
Or their
uh
rentals or
right, right. Yeah. No, I get it. Like to me, that wouldn't be a big deal because I'm not I'm not necessarily motivated by money. Like I know that, I need a certain amount like to live comfortably, but it's like, but I'm not the type of person that like kind of chases it as much. So like it wouldn't affect me necessarily, but I think I would love like the environment and and just being around like just different cultures there. Like so what kind of like ethnic groups are, I mean, I know there's a lot of Cubans, right? Like what about like what other ethnic groups live in Miami?
it's Venezuelan. Like you have all like cultures here.
Mm-hmm.
You have your Haitians here too. It's
Mm-hmm.
just so different everywhere, and
Yeah.
just more people come and you see everything. You hear different languages. Like I speak Spanish, but
Uh-huh.
there's like 7 types of Spanish down here. So it's interesting to see. And I live close to the Keys.
Uh-huh.
Uh, so also there you just get very like American people too.
Sure. Probably people come to like do they like go there like on vacation and stuff? Is there a lot of like vacation
And they have
homes in the Keys?
yeah, yeah. So
Mm.
that's where I train usually, like in the spring
Uh-huh.
and winter time, because they all fly down, and those are like my sole purpose there. So it's interesting, and then you get to hear about their lives like away
Yeah.
from Florida.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it seems so calm.
So is so were you born and raised in Florida, in Miami? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I know where are your family from?
Nicaragua, both of them,
Nicaragua.
both.
Okay. Yeah, 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 it's always interesting to encounter like different cultures and stuff. I find it like amazing, like just kind of being surrounded by, different kinds of people. So it's super interesting. So
Where
yeah, and I'm sorry.
where are you based out of? Like,
So
where do you live?
I live in Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, nice, cool.
Yeah,
Never been.
yeah. Yeah, you should come. It's a nice place. I can't say anything bad about it. It's a great place to be. And if I move to Florida in the next few years, I probably will still keep a place here. Probably just Airbnb it or something like that.
Yeah,
But I just wanted to live like the next few years next to like an ocean or like next to a beach or at least manageable distance. It doesn't have to be right on it, but somewhere where there's like a lot of sun, like, stuff that's conducive to like fitness and, stuff like that. So,
I like Florida a lot. I don't know
yeah,
where I would if I were to move anywhere else.
yeah.
Texas, but I think that Texas could get boring, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll get boring, but I will say this. It's like if you're moving to Texas, it's like, okay, well, why are you moving there? Well, it's like because it's if we're talking about like weather, it's like, well, it's hot in Texas, but it's like hot in Florida. But like in Texas, I don't know, do they don't have, they're landlocked, right? They don't have any oceans or anything like that, from what I
Yeah.
know. So like to me, like I always wanted like to be next to an ocean. So like it wouldn't like something like Texas wouldn't, it would be just like being in Nashville, like in Tennessee, we're
Yeah.
landlocked here. So
I think
there's
it's because the 3 times that I've gone, I just like their food there is amazing. Like the bar,
are you saying
I,
Texas?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I'm sure it's amazing.
the, I guess the architecture is a little different, but
Hmm.
and history. But I think like yeah, that's good to go and travel and see. So again, I don't think it would be like a permanent stay.
Sure, sure. And there is something, there is something to say about that. It's like there's places you want to go and visit, and then there's places you want to live, It's like I think there's differences between those two things. So, and but yeah, I mean, like every state that I've been to or country that I've been to, like, they have their own like like you said, their own architecture, their own cultures, their own like, so it's super like neat, to go to these like different places and check
I've
it
been
out.
to New York. I don't think I would move there.
You've
I'm
been
not
where?
to New York.
Oh yeah.
The nightlife is nice, but it's too busy and so much traffic.
Yeah, yeah. It's New York is, yeah, it's hustle and bustle. It's super super busy. How is Miami? Is Miami like a busy place or is it kind of laid back?
I
It
think
is busy.
it's busy, yeah. It's
Yeah.
busy, because everything's open like almost all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's pretty busy.
So when I came to Nashville many years ago, it was like more or less like a smaller city. Now it's huge. It's like people are moving from there. We have people moving from California, tons of people like, so it's becoming like a major big city like anywhere else, a lot of traffic, which is another story, but
Yeah. I think
you
that's
know,
any there's just so many more people now in the world. There always has been, but
yeah,
now they're like all the areas are starting to get so congested,
yeah,
so
yeah.
more traffic overall.
Yeah,
So yeah,
absolutely. No, I completely agree with you. I think anywhere you go now, it's like things are getting like just more populated and busier and more traffic and just more and more and more expensive.
yeah,
Rent here in Nashville's crazy too. Yeah.
really. How much would you get for like a house, like a family?
I mean, you can find, houses that are like 200,000. You can, but they're not going to be anywhere you want to live. So it's like,
Wow.
if you want to live in like a decent place in a decent area, I mean, you're looking at like 450, 500, maybe more. They just built some apartments. They're like 1 million. I'm like, it's
Wow.
it's getting crazy. And I think what's happening is, and I think we're kind of like going off tangent here, but but I think but I yeah, but I think what's happening is that people that make more in certain states, like California, they pay a lot more in California than they do in Tennessee. So I think people that sell their like homes or they work remotely maybe in California, they can come here and afford like much more expensive places, which then drives all the prices up. But local people have a hard time because they don't make as much as the people that are coming in. So it ends up being like a little disbalanced. So, but it sounds like that's everywhere. I just went to Montana not that long ago, and they're in the same situation. Prices are going crazy I know Miami is super expensive too.
So expensive. It's crazy. I
Yeah,
don't understand it. And I don't see it slowing down like
yeah.
anytime.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying to figure out how I can make money off of this. But the problem is, you need money to make money. Like,
Yeah, no, Miami's insane. Like the houses, um, like when um like when I first started living in this area,
mhm.
they have, let's see, it's almost by 4 times as what they were worth, like the homes here.
Yeah,
Like
crazy.
say three to 4 times more.
Yeah, yeah,
Crazy.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like my home went up about that, like since we got it, several years ago. But if I can't, like, you can't sell it and go somewhere else because somewhere else is also very expensive. So if you like sell it, you'll get the money or whatever, the more money than you paid for it initially years ago. But when you go to try to buy something else, it's like you're not gaining anything because everything is so expensive. So
Yeah, no,
yeah.
absolutely. Now
Anyways.
time really to buy, I think.
For sure, for sure. Well, hey, Blanca, thank you so much for coming on the show. I greatly appreciate it. I was super excited to talk to you. It was awesome that we got together. I'm glad you saw my message on
Yeah,
Instagram.
no, no, thank you so much. Thank you
Yeah.
for.
And so if people wanted to contact you for more podcasts, coaching, or like find out like about your gym, like what would be the best way for them to reach out to you?
On my Instagram, I have my link tree, which has different links,
Okay.
and then I have all my services and like where they can reach me.
Perfect. And I will go ahead and put everything at the bottom of this video and links so you guys can just click on it and get to all Blanca's information. And make sure you click like and subscribe. And again, Blanca, thank you so much. You have a great rest of the day.
You too. Thank you.
Take care. Bye bye.